Hello.
Hang on. Edit. Let's change this. Why is it doing that?
What are you doing now?
Remove Twitter. Add Facebook. Because we can still do we can still go live on Twitter if we pay for Twitter, and I'm not.
Oh, I ain't paying Space Cow or anything.
Yeah, exactly. So we will stick to Twitch, whatever that is. Something that my kid watches. Hello, everybody. We thought instead of just doing our normal car chat, like ring Mike in the car, we'll just do it on here instead because the games are coming thick and fast. Sam was meant to be coming, but he's late. And we give opportunities to everybody else on the podcast who can't come on a Sunday, like a ghost town. Trying to pull a five-a-side team together or not, we are here for your entertainment. I don't know how many you'll join us.
We're here.
Yeah,
we're the constants.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was worried that the stickers that we sell were a bit crappy because they do peel after a while. But I bought these ones that were like a £5. I got 5 for £5 in Brick Lane because I quite like the lithograph stuff. And they're already peeling off, and I only bought them a couple of days ago. So, I don't know what he's using. Evening, David. I don't know how many people who regularly listen to us on a Sunday join us on a Tuesday afternoon. I can understand most people are watching Married at First Sight Australia. So I completely understand you'd rather watch Jackie going mad than coming to listen to us talking about Port Vale away.
Completely understandable.
Oh, she's mental, that one. Oh, drama galore. Let's talk about Married at First Sight instead.
Evening, Stuart.
Evening. Of course.
We are still on the train.
Even gentlemen. Thank you, David. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. If you're listening, come say hello. We'd love to have your input because we're going to be at least a man down today. So your thoughts on everything, your permutations, all the WhatsApp group has been about today is maths. It has been GCSE maths as everybody's going through their fractions and their possibilities and whatevers.
Do you know, I did not realise 25 years ago that I would have to be so good at mathematics to be a Grimsby Town fan. I've spent my entire life working out permutations of what team does what in the playoffs or in the promotion or in the relegation zone.
My favourite bit now is I'm really good at the 6 times table because of the overs in cricket. I didn't think that would have to come in handy. I've also got a massive spot if you're watching this live. I don't know. It's angry.
Hi, Sam.
Hello, sir.
Either he's frozen or he's not happy and he's having a right old stare at us.
It wouldn't be the start of a podcast without Sam arriving with so little time or late so he can test his own equipment.
Oh, we had a 2-hour chat before we came on, didn't we, Alex?
Yeah, ladies, take this as heed for dating Sam because he doesn't come prepared. He doesn't have the right equipment, and it takes him a while to get going. So
and it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work. So anyone thinking? And apparently he lives in Sarajevo in the 90s because he sounds like he's on a phone line from there. Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? Thank you for finally refunding the taxi yesterday.
He's like when they used to ring up Eurovision down a telephone.
Yeah. Sort your sound. Yeah, it is. Sort your sound out.
Every week, honest. Sam, come on, man.
Yeah, it's poor. It's really poor. I don't understand what's going on. Don't have this on any of the other podcasts. They're professional.
Who said it was a good idea to go live and do live things?
I don't know. He's buggered off now. I can see him in the little box. I think Mike can as well. Anyway.
Yes.
2 games left. I went to Port Vale yesterday, as did Sam.
Whoa. Don't start all this. Start talking about the game and then putting the intro in.
No, I'm just setting the scene.
Me right off.
It's all right.
Let's have a sit down.
And we want to get your thoughts on what you think is going to happen. Milton Keynes coming up as well. Mark James and Georgie are doing a London mini marathon. And so if you haven't already donated to their fund to do the marathon next week, please do so. We'll retweet it again, but you'll find it in the DN35 Twitter account and Facebook, I think. Sam, how are you doing? Are we done? Are we on? Are we live?
Is that any better?
Not really.
Is that any better?
What do you think, Mike?
I changed
No. What did you do? What did you do? What do you normally do? Do that.
Plug this thing. I've done what I always do, which is
I apologise.
We'll check it out in the edit, mate. Nobody will notice.
Oh yeah, it's not like it's live, and I don't want to do any editing because I've already got an at the match to edit.
I know we said when we started, doing the first 10 minutes before we went live, because we used to chat for 10 minutes, didn't we? And then go on. I knew we said it was just because it was a good laugh. It was primarily to make sure Sam has got his audio sorted. It's the only reason we do 10 minutes.
Right. So let's go through a few things while we do it. Are we taking the rich pickings out of Morecambe and Carlisle? I don't know, Stuart. I'm hoping the rich pickings of Morecambe and Carlisle are good enough to bat off Chesterfield. HC Stormer is saying, anyone know if there's fancy dress theme or anything going on for Saturday? I don't know, mate. I would have loved to have done it, but tensions are so high. I'd feel a prat standing around in Dave Moore shorts as Milton Keynes put a second in and beat us after coming back from us being 3-0 up.
Just going dressed as Elmo, just a sad Elmo. Nobody wants to see that.
Simon Hodgson says, I can confirm that Alex and Sam had a conversation and not just a quick hello. Well, you say that, Simon. Sam wasn't too forthcoming in coming forward, so he just kept saying, I can't hear you. And that was the end of that was the end of it, really.
Pretty much similar to when he's on the pod. Then I can't hear you.
And I gave him his money back.
True, is it?
Yeah, there we go.
That's
what have you
true,
done? So, right, Sam, whatever you've done, write it down, and this is what you need to do.
Somebody in the comments just make a note of whatever Sam's done to remind us next week.
So what did you do? Let's do it live so that we can always come back to it.
Right, I'm literally taking a photo of the audio settings on my thing now. I pride myself on being quite good at this sort of thing. And I would just the microphone.
All evidence.
On this microphone that you...
Yeah. All evidence to
the microphone that the podcast very generously funded for me. I've just adjusted the volume of it, adjusted the kind of, because there's like these, as you can see here, there's like these weird sort of, can you see there? I've put it onto a different setting there.
Surely you said it once and then leave it.
What are you doing with that during the week to be changing the settings?
I don't think I want.
I'm not changing the settings. So it gets knocked. I don't know. I transport it around with me because, of course, I do quite a lot of podcasts from mum and dad, don't I? So therefore, I don't know if it gets bashed about in the suitcase or something.
Still looks
he's also about 5 seconds behind us as well again.
Yeah, it's fun. Don't worry. So is David Smithson. Don your shorts for Dave. Surely he's put that in twice.
My wife's just sent a message. Alex said his tin can needs a new string.
Yeah. Oh dear. I might have to put a transfer in.
I stick up. I come on every week. Well, not every week, but I come on more than most, and I still get stick.
Yeah, because we can't hear 35% of what you say. And
isn't that a good thing? Isn't that a good thing?
No, and there's the other thing behind it. So this is a bit behind the scenes. If you find that the audio quality improves every now and then on the podcast, it's because everybody has arrived at the same time. And so I can take an individual recording from everybody's individual stream and I can put them in separately, which means I get the direct feed from Mike instead of what comes into my computer, and the same from Sam and Bruce or whoever it is. If they don't all arrive at the same time before we go live, I can't do that because I'd have to spend too much time prattling around, marrying it up, especially if you're like Sam, you come in, you leave, you come in, you leave, you come in, you leave, you come in, you leave. I can't do that. So I then have to take basically the backup audio, which is just what I record off of my computer coming in. So it's basically the same YouTube quality instead of a superior audio quality, which comes from everybody instead. That's a little bit of behind the scenes.
In other words, it's my fault if the audio sounds crap.
Oh, you're all terrible in it. Bruce does it all the time. So I'll just pop in. Well, the second you just pop in, it means I've got to start. I can't do that because A, I can't be asked, and B, it's just a pain. It's just a pain. And also he leaves really quickly, because it takes a while for it to download on your computer and then be sent to me automatically. So the second somebody, instead of, after the pod, we will do a little 5-minute, 10-minute chat after everyone's gone, oh, that was nice, blah, blah, blah. Wasn't such and such a person in the comments a dickhead? That sort of stuff. And in that time, it downloads all of the audio files that I can then marry them up. Bruce, on the other hand, gone. The second the curtain call is down, the second he's done his encore and in his bow, he's out the stage door and in the pub down the road. Now, I don't begrudge him it, but it just means we can't use that.
I'm so pleased you decided to tell us this. What we've worked out here is basically everything's Sam's fault, which I think we already knew. You will do everything to avoid doing any work at all, which I think we already knew. And you have some very finite knowledge that the rest of us don't want. It's very clever, very detailed, but we're not interested, which I think we already knew.
Yeah, but I think people like to. This is almost like a premium content for our dedicated listeners who go, actually, I look at this stuff that DN35 put out every day. They're going to do a podcast on a Tuesday night completely free. And they then get all this information in the background. And then we can talk about Port Vale.
Talk about Sam's audio settings and make jokes about him doing something inappropriate with a microphone during the week.
Yeah, he uses a butt plug. So
was that book? Was that B-double-O-K?
Yes. Book. A book.
The famous instrument called a book plug.
Why do I?
Is that what? That's what Sam. That's what Sam calls bookends. Have you got your book plugs in?
Did you actually speak to him yesterday, then, Sam?
Yeah, we did it. We had a quick conversation. I was actually doing, this kind of this antisocial thing we've invented at games now, where we have to record ourselves during the game, taking doing a kind of voice note for the
Whoa, hang on. Are you criticizing other people for being antisocial?
And also, not to mention, it's the only one he was doing. He only did one at half time.
He did one. I fell over.
Yeah, well, I did two actually because Alex hijacked it. But anyway, I was doing one of those, and it looked like, because Alex was coming down the stairs. I didn't know he was coming. It looked like it was a case of, oh shit, the home.
I'm checking up on the.
I better pretend I'm working. So anyway, Alex finally refunded me for the taxi in London.
By the way, you owe me £2.
Interest, mate, for the 5-month delay. You know how interest rates are high on the back of the October budget. But anyway, so yeah, we had a nice quick chat, didn't we? You were kind of said we rode our. Actually, what you said was true. I can't remember exactly what you said, but we rode our luck a little bit. We need to score again, and you were right. Apart from the fact we needed to score twice again.
Yeah.
There
we go.
Then I had a conversation. Accusing me of being antisocial. Bloody hell! This is new. I'm not antisocial. This is ridiculous.
Sam, the amount of times I've been somewhere.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around here. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.
Good evening, you lucky.
We've learned something else we already knew. I'm not letting you do a clean link then, and you're a prick.
You never do. Good evening, everybody. You lucky sausages. 3 shows in a week, completely free. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's a surprise one because the games are coming thick and fast, and these games actually mean something. Unlike talking about a draw with Sutton, which meant square root of fuck all. But Town drew with Port Vale, again snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. 2 points out of 9, and somehow, we have improved our position over the Easter holiday and find ourselves back in the playoffs on our own terms. I don't understand it either. Nobody wants to win it. The way it's going, I would imagine Morecambe are more likely to get promoted than anyone in the playoffs. But we're here to talk about the Port Vale game, all the permutations to come. bang the drum for turning up at franchise. It may be against your better judgment and you don't want to give them the money, but the club needs you. Everybody needs you. They've got plenty of room. There's going to be pay on the gate. You can't book at the car park, though. So make sure you get your parking sorted ASAP. And we're going to try and drum a bit for that. We'll also have an At the Match podcast come out. I haven't even started editing that yet, and that will be out from our experience. And you get to hear the disappointment in my face as I'm recording live as Port Vale score their second. So that's fun. But Mike's here. He watched it on telly. Sam came up to Port Vale. I didn't get home till 10 o'clock at night because of a crash on the M40. Sam, what were your thoughts on a point away at the league leaders?
Well, it's fair to say, isn't it? If you had offered us all at the start of Easter weekend, we would be literally as we were, apart from a worse than goal difference, which makes no difference because if it comes down to goal difference, we're knackered. We'd have all taken it, wouldn't we? I'd priced in a defeat at home to Swindon. I thought Port Vale were flying, would do very well to get anything from that. But then on the back of yesterday, when really being 2-0 up again after last Saturday, looking at it, and when we conceded, I felt bad when we conceded the first one. I had a bad feeling about it, but then we kind of managed the game quite well. A bit could easily score a third. It looked like we'd ridden out the storm, and it looked like we'd just about done enough. It was unbelievably frustrating in the moment to concede the goal, but frankly, here we are over 24 hours on now from it. I can sort of rationalise a point as a decent result. It's put it back in our own hands. I think we've actually now, to be honest with you, got two pretty decent fixtures. If you actually look at it, franchise are basically on the beach. I know they won on yesterday, but they've basically not won a game for months. And then you got Wimbledon, who I think are going to be safely nestled, resting players in playoffs for the final game of the season. So honestly, I'm not too disheartened, although it was difficult to feel like that as the equaliser went in. I thought we played as well as we have done for weeks yesterday, frankly, actually. We weren't very good against Swindon. We were terrible against Swindon, actually. We were poor against Harrogate, despite two very good goals. We weren't that good against Morecambe, I didn't think. And we were poor against Crewe. So we played as well as we had done for ages. It was just really frustrating to concede such a late goal when, honestly, I thought we were home.
I was really hoping that we conceded and then just made it, because as a psychological boost after the defeat to Harrogate, which kind of feels like it looms a little bit, it would have made it all the better, but it wasn't to be. Mike probably had a better view of it because that goal, the only goal that was down our end was Rosie's penalty. But Port Vale are a decent team who want to win the game just as much as we do, and by hook or by crook, they're going to do it. And they looked really dangerous in that second half. To be perfectly honest, I thought Arto was a bit slow on the changes because I was very much of a it's been coming sort of guild. But I'm not really going to be too critical of how we performed, because I thought we did perform really well against a really strong team. And I think the turning point was the quality that Port Vale could call upon from their bench in comparison to ourselves. And I think that's where we kind of fell behind. And it's kind of, again, stamps that maybe I'm looking for reasons to justify my own thoughts, but that sort of idea that we're maybe a year ahead of where we are meant to be. And let's enjoy the ride and see how far we can take this train, because we are doing we're doing really well, but we don't have necessarily that groundswell of a squad that's capable of helping take us to do specific jobs during specific games. But massive qualities. Eastwood, we'll talk about him probably in more detail, but I thought he was phenomenal. Made two stunning saves, McEwen-esque, and I don't think I've seen many goalkeepers make those sort of quality saves since probably Henderson was in goal for us. I thought Tyrell Warren played really well. I thought McEachran, again, is just brilliant. Rose, how lucky are we to have him? Like, in terms of the quality he gives us, the energy and just the sturdiness, shall we say, the resilience of the man to play so many games up front on his own, getting battered and bruised by hulking, great big League Two brutes who just want to kick you up in the air. Probably could have toned down the celebration. But I'm disappointed we didn't win. But again, if you gave me a point against the league leaders, I would have taken it. But can we please start to learn to take hold of a lead? Because I think this will be the carrying on story come the end of the season. If we don't go up, it's like we didn't carry it through. Mike, what were your thoughts from Telly?
Yeah, I mirror pretty much your guys' thoughts. It's a hard one to take, isn't it, in that manner? And it's not as if it's right at the end of the game. So it's just you're so on the edge of your seat, thinking, right, just deal with this corner. And we dealt with the corner, and then we've not dealt with the second ball. So it's right at the end. It's an absolute nightmare. This is really difficult to do. I completely get this, and it's maybe a coping mechanism for me yesterday. But we'd have all took a 2-2 draw before a ball was kicked. We were talking on whatever day it was. I've lost track of the days because of the long bank holiday. But we were talking before the game, and we'd have took a draw easily. But it's that manner, isn't it? And football's a funny thing. If we score that last minute equaliser, that's a massive point, isn't it? We think, oh, that's it, massive point to put us back in the playoffs. We've got the momentum. That's it. When you concede it, it's still the same result, still the same amount of points, but you just look at it all so differently. And that's why football's a funny old game. I thought every single one of them on the pitch, I think, that started the game definitely put in a shift. I've got absolutely no complaints. I think they went away to a really good Port Vale side. I say they're not prime Barcelona, as I said the other day, but they're good at what they do. And I think it was really good. The first goal we scored, a nice little bit of thinking from Artel to get the ball sort of back in play a bit quicker. And then a really neat finish from Danny Rose. And then when you go 2-0 up after half time, you're thinking, right, that might have blunted a bit of their attack, because they did come out all guns blazing second half, and they know what they do. They do it well. They've got the ball down that left-hand side, down their left and our right, and just keep putting it in the box and play off Stockley. But then it reverts back to what I was saying about Swindon, about being 2-0 down. As soon as you get a goal back, it just completely changes the game. It goes from you being slightly nervy, but you've got a 2-goal cushion, and keep that 2-goal cushion. As soon as you go back to just one in the game, crowd gets up, balls start flying in your box, everyone starts getting nervy, and we just didn't have enough to hang on. So frustrating, but it's a point gained on the road. We're in pole position. I'd rather be in our position than anybody else's. I think a win and a draw against Wimbledon would probably be enough to see us through. But frustrating, but we need to keep that perspective. And as you said, we've had one fit striker for most of the season. We've had so many injuries. It's bonkers we're still in this position, but they keep coming again, and they keep getting results, and they keep putting us back in the playoffs, and they'll keep going as long as they can. So hopefully everybody gets down to MK Dons on Saturday and gets behind them. And if we can get 3 points there on Saturday, that'll be huge.
Oh, Mike's doing more than I wouldn't call them MK Dons, but Milton Keynes, whatever franchise. They got plenty of room. Get in there, take a seat out, give it to the Wimbledon fans when we see them the week after, so they can use it for their next stadium. Sam, what were you going to say about Danny Rose?
I just think that you mentioned there, Mike, actually, that we've had one fit striker for basically months now. We've barely had anybody available. My God, we are lucky that striker is Rose. I mean, there aren't, in fact, actually none. I can't think of any striker that's ever played for us. I mean, we've had better players than Danny Rose, more talented players. But I can't think of anybody who has been better equipped to do what he has had to do in these last few months. He's had to play every single second of every game as a lone striker, with knowing he can't come off, knowing that he can't get injured, knowing that otherwise the whole thing kind of falls about him. And he's run his socks off every single week. I mean, God, he must sleep well at night. I mean, the way he can, we saw it yesterday, the way he can win cheap free kicks in decent positions when we're under the cost to relieve pressure. I've never seen a Town player as good as he is. He scores vital goals for the first time, apparently, since Grovesy in the 90s. We're going to have back-to-back top goal scorers across 2 separate seasons. And I just think, as the captain, as the leader, the fact that he was out on his feet yesterday and he's still pressing from the front in the 85th minute, I mean, the guy's a freak. I mean, I understand why the rest of the world hates him. I mean, his celebration would wind me up if I was a Port Vale supporter. But I just honestly, every week that goes by, even though I'm a huge Rose fan, I kind of can't. I find new ways to be kind of startled by him. I mean, that's his first brace for us ever yesterday, apparently. He takes a great penalty, another underappreciated skill. And I'm going to let someone else talk here because I could bang on about Rose all evening. I just think we're unbelievably lucky to have the guy. Yeah,
he's a phenomenal asset. And as you say, if it was any other striker that I can remember recent history, they wouldn't keep going. And he just has the knack to. I think you can see that maybe the change with putting Barrington up top with him instead of changing shape or playing another midfielder is purely recognising the fact the amount of games he's played and needing somebody a bit younger and a bit quicker to do a lot of running for him, which isn't a bad thing. Danny Rose is an enigma. He's somebody that can play a game as a small striker. He's got the quality finishing, the good first touch, can come short for it, but he can also challenge in the air and then run the channels as well. And I do struggle sometimes to wonder why he's not played quite a bit higher. He scores goals. He does everything you need him to do. He never stops running, never stops trying, and leads from the front as best he can. So, yeah, I'm sold. I was sold a long time ago. But yeah, if it wasn't for Danny Rose, then we wouldn't be in this situation. But there is some other players you could say that about as well.
I mean, he was appreciated last season, I think, because he was by miles our best. But I have been just as impressed by him this season in terms of the fact that he's been playing in a much better side with much better players. Hasn't stood out to the same level because there have been better players in the side, but has been just as important. I mean, the fact that we spent the week after Crewe worrying about whether Rose would be fit, given the lack of other striking alternatives, tells its own story. He's that fundamental to us. And the fact that basically last summer is rightly ridiculed as pretty disastrous recruitment, well, certainly poor recruitment. He is the sort of shining light among that, because he's one of the best signings we've made since probably Hurst's best signing as a league manager, I'd say.
And it was we're talking about this, but it's nice to see Ibikwe coming back as a direct result of that, giving us another option. Granted, he came on and then we conceded 2, but it's nice to see that he comes on and we've got at least somebody else to help share the burden up front, because it's needed. And the same with Charles Vernam as well. Good to see him back. Hopefully he doesn't break something between now and a shopping trip to Morrison's.
I thought he looked dangerous, actually, especially when he got in our left channel against their right side of centre back. I thought he did some good bits. And for us, as good as we have been all season, that is the thing I've moaned about most, is somebody getting the ball, running at somebody and doing something. And we saw a bit of that yesterday. And it's the first time we've seen that for a while, just getting the ball, running at somebody. And there was 2 or 3 really good opportunities. He got the shot off for the goal. One in the second half. If he pulled it back, it probably would have been 3-0. So him and Ibikwe, getting these players back at the right time with 2 massive games coming up could be massive for us. And then touchwood, if we have a playoff campaign, you're starting to get a squad that you're thinking these players are fairly decent now. They've got the injured players back.
And talking about that, I was really pleased with how Eastwood performed. We had the conversation last week where we were sort of begrudgingly saying, look, it'll be a big call, but it'd be great to see Eastwood come in because Wright isn't performing at that level. And I'll be honest, if that's the performance that Eastwood can put in consistently, there's no comparison. He is heads and shoulders above Wright in terms of his ability as a goalkeeper. First and foremost, he made 2 outstanding saves at point blank range. Now, there is an argument to say, well, how much did he know about them? It's just a reaction in its, the look of the draw. Absolutely. I do agree with that to a point, but his command of his area, his coming out to collect the ball in the air is light years ahead of what Wright can do. And I was talking about it time and again yesterday, so I've bored people to death. But Wright, when he comes to get the ball, he catches it like I catch a cricket ball. I'll almost catch it once to take the speed out of it and then have to catch it again. And every time I watch Wright do that, every time I see Wright collect a ball, he seems to do that. He has to bobble it twice. It doesn't necessarily come to a problem, but there are times when he ends up bouncing the ball and then collecting it. and it's not come to any issues yet. But I can't imagine it instills a great amount of confidence in the defence in front of him when he does it. But Eastwood, similar to Aidan Davison yesterday, that's the only one I can compare it to in terms of his ability to come and collect the ball from crosses, took them cleanly, dropped himself to the floor, took a couple of seconds, and also his distribution. He was one thing that Wright doesn't do as well. I know Mike doesn't like his kicking, and I've got to agree with that, but his one thing that Eastwood was doing was he was launching balls with his arms. He was throwing them out there for quick counterattacks, and we don't do that with Wright. And I'm disappointed that we've got Wright for 3 years and Eastwood for 1, because I would swap that tomorrow in a heartbeat if I could.
I know you say
given that one game.
I know you say he didn't know anything, or people progressed the argument he didn't know anything about those saves. And I played as a goalkeeper, obviously not to a decent level, but I played all the way through my youth. You not knowing and your body knowing are two different things. You've got to be sort of instinctively in the right position and make the right moves to stop a ball. He's not just stood there and it's hit him. So you've sort of got to know what you're doing, and you make your own look as a goalkeeper. Sometimes it comes off. And I would say, watching the highlights back today, I said to you earlier, Alex, he nearly got to the rebound, which I was absolutely amazed how close he got to that after making.
Yeah, a bit like Svan Thorson nearly got to that one for.
Yeah, let's drop that, because I've sent you the proof that you're talking shit. So
yeah,
I'm going to that. Yeah,
no, it just proved my point, I think.
No, so he nearly got to the rebound.
I was really impressed with him, yeah.
And the other thing from minute one is, and I'm watching him, and I tried not to go in on Wright too much of the week because I started to feel sorry for him. And that's never a good position.
But you don't want that for a player anyway.
No, of course not, especially one that plays for us.
Yeah, you're going to be you're on a 3-year contract. I can't imagine you're on a small amount of money. Get out there and stop letting the ball go underneath you. Catch the bloody ball.
But I thought Eastwood from minute one just exude confidence. I was watching him, and it might just be, it's somebody different and he's made a save. But I was watching him feeling, this fella's going to come for balls. He's going to make save. He's going to not be too dithering with what he's going to do with the ball at feet. Sometimes he's looking around, there's no pass there. He's just thrown everybody forward and whacked it and said, right, there's nothing there. We'll get it forward this time. There's a couple of really good things when they've got really good players in the air, and there's a couple of balls in around the penalty spot, which I don't think I've seen Wright come for before. And Eastwood's a lot smaller, but he came and collected no problem or punched, and he just looked a lot more confident. Now that could change, Eastwood's played for us before. He's not Edwin van der Sar, but he's made a really good start to getting back in the team. So hopefully that carries on.
Without wishing to be too controversial, because this is Sam talking about goalkeepers, so I understand it could produce some pelters. But Eastwood's been fit for weeks now. What has he been doing wrong in training that has meant that it's taken this long to make this decision? Because there was no singular aspect of Eastwood's performance yesterday that was worse than any singular aspect of Wright. His kicking was better, his catching was better, his saving was better. Those are basically the three things you've got to do as a goalkeeper. And they were all kind of on a different level. Now, I understand because we've seen Eastwood. I mean, by the sort of, let's say, the dying days of Hurst, he was taking out of the side because his confidence was on the floor. But he looked like a completely different player yesterday. I mean, the cynics might say he's playing for a contract. I get that. But I don't think that's what this group are like. And I don't think that's what this a group of players under Artell signed by Hurst would be like. So I don't see that. But I mean, there's no way Wright's coming back in. I mean, he looked like a top quality League Two goalkeeper yesterday. I was really, we'd have lost that game of Wright in goal yesterday, I think, because they'd have scored earlier. So sorry, Mike.
No, I thought so. I was going to say, with goalkeepers though, it's really odd, isn't it? They're completely different to the rest of the team. It's all of, if you're in possession until you do something wrong. So you can have somebody pulling out worldies in training, but unless you've done something wrong in the team, then you're not gonna lose your place. It's not like you've been crap in training as a striker, and then you've got the other fella that's banging everything that's coming to him. That's not how it's treated like. And I think with Wright, it wasn't per se howler after howler. It was just substandard performances back to back to back, sort of accumulated. Nothing too outrageous, he's fairly okay. But just over the last couple of weeks, he started just dropping below a level where you can you can accept that as a consistent level of performance. So if you're in possession of the shirt, you keep it until you've got a reason for him to take you out of the team. And unfortunately, I think that was the accumulation of chances he had against Swindon.
And I don't think it will change now. I think he's going to be our goalkeeper towards the end of the season. I don't really what Wright has had his chance, and I would imagine if Eastwood goes, because I still think we should look at alternatives, see what's out there, and given what we end up recruiting, it's been a pretty positive thing for the last 18 months or so, is that the conversations with Wright are probably going to be, look, you're on a 3-year contract, but you will be absolutely the number 2 unless you can prove otherwise. And you are welcome to look elsewhere if you feel like you need a first team football, because, he's just one of the few signings that haven't lived up to the expectations. But then again, the expectations we've had this season have changed throughout, and they have only gone up. So he coming in as a mid-table League 2 goalkeeper to grow, fine, you could understand it. But maybe again, as we keep saying, we're probably a year ahead of where we thought we were going to be, and he hasn't grown with the rest of the squad in the same way that McEachran's, Van Thorson, Green, and such have come on as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens about that in the summer. But he was brilliant. I really enjoyed him.
The good news for you, mate, just check Phil Mike. It's only 2 years. So if he doesn't improve, it's only 1 more year. So the silver line. Okay, good.
We've not got a Monto. He's not Monto. Do you know what, Jordan? That's harsh. I was going to compare you to Monto Gibson on a 3-year contract, and you are no way like that. So my apologies for even thinking it. So it was disappointing. I've never been to Vale Park, so I was really impressed. I thought it was. I've always in my head thought Port Vale and ourselves are kind of on the same level, just because we've kind of had the same journeys. They haven't gone as far down as we have, but they were the teams we used to play in the Championship when I was a fan as a kid in the 90s. But a little bit of a reality check yesterday. Vale Park is so much bigger than Blundell Park. It's got so much more room to expand into. They've got a full-length stand with 2 rows of corporate boxes from end to end, and they were all full. So if you think we've got 8 corporate boxes, I would imagine they've got about 30. So in change in revenue, and obviously they hit 10,000 yesterday, only something we can dream of. So it was a bit of a reality check yesterday. And that stand was lovely. Not much room out the back. There was a nice little quiet kiosk to the left that nobody was using. Everyone was going into the one outside. But it was a big old ground. You could make a hell of an atmosphere in there. I see that Port Vale fans are very chippy about David Artell, and we'll probably come back to that in a second, but also very chippy about a jokingly comment I made about 1,200. I thought there was more than 1,200 there, but we'd already sold 1,100 tickets or whatever. It looked and certainly sounded like that, but you can certainly make a racket in that stand, a lot better than what you can do in the Pony. And the fans were great. They were a little bit quiet in the second half as things were getting more nervy, but that's to be. But the second that we conceded, they were back at it again. A little bit less chanting about the Pope and the IRA would be appreciated. It's not the 90s anymore, but some people can't move on. That's. I was pleasantly impressed with all of it. Just a bit of a reality check of how far we are behind a team that I thought we were probably on par with. No, did I just speak so eloquently that I silenced everybody? Great.
Yeah, that's we'll go with that, Alex. We'll go with that. I think you're right. It's clear they've got a lot more resources than ourselves, but so what? We're batting well above our average. And yeah, you can chuck all the money you want at it, but if you don't get the right players in the right places, all playing together, then it doesn't mean anything. I mean, you look at Carlisle and things, so they've done well to use that money well, but yeah, I'm not a fan. Maybe because of what I've seen the last day or so.
Why is that?
I've just seen loads of real chippy fans over the last couple of days.
So they are clearly getting chippy about Artell, and I'd imagine it's because of him at Crewe. And I assume Port Vale and Crewe are a bit of a local rival.
He played for Port Vale So
did
the
he?
story
Yeah.
goes from social media. So
Go on then.
take
He-
a,
Go on,
he-
Mike.
take a,
Hang on, Sam.
He had a
Hang on,
list
Sam.
of- he had a
Hang
list
on,
of
Sam.
stuff.
Hang on, Sam. I've already said, Jesus. Mike was talking. He can't help it, can he?
So let me tell you about something I've read on the internet, so it must be true. So, according to the internet, there's some good stuff on there as well. He played for Port Vale when they were having a lot of trouble. Decided to give a massive speech to all the players about, we've got to help this team with all these financial problems. We've got to dig in and really help. And then a month later or a week later left because they went into administration. Basically, it boils down to the fact a man with a family decided he needed to be paid to do his job.
Yeah,
that's what I can work out.
I can understand why that annoys people, but I
Job.
would imagine
You're not paying him.
but-
Fuck off.
Yeah, I know, but I would imagine we would be the same if we ever in that position. There'd be people that'd be chippy about it. But yeah, move on. Probably.
Not a fan base though. Not an entire fan base.
I don't think it was everybody, was it? Was it everybody?
Just everybody I meet.
Everybody. That says more about you.
The vast swathes of Port Vale fans you bump into in Sutton.
There's
Oh,
loads of them.
you can't move from round here.
But I thought they were quite nice. Met a couple of friendly ones out of it. He goes, "Are you still in the playoffs?" I says, "Yeah, no, thanks to you." But I think they're just as nervy. Their eyes are set on automatic promotion, but I'm not sure they'll get there.
What would you think about playing about being that? Because I thought they resembled a
Cowley team.
A Cowley team. Yeah, that's what I said. That it was all just lumping balls into the box in the event. In the end, the pressure told. There's absolutely no science to it whatsoever. They just sort of overwhelmed us in the end. And
It's
sort of
Division 4 though, isn't it? It's
Effective.
effective. It works. It was exactly the same as what Russell Slade did for us, and that was our most successful season in for far too long. And they do have a couple of quality players there. I think it was their number 32, huge black guy who was just absolutely ripping into us. And every time he ran forward in the second half, we were terrified.
Well, we just tried to foul him, didn't we? McKechnie could easily have been sent off yesterday.
Oh yeah, was it McKechnie when he'd gone past him and McKechnie went, right, I'm going to take him out. Didn't. He was swatted off like a fly. And I think the referee felt so sorry for McKechnie. I think he either forgot to book him a second time or he just felt sorry for him. But he could have been sent off for that.
Because he got away, it's easy to ignore it. And I think referees are always looking for the easier decision. That's human nature, actually. But it's effective, Sam. Now, you say about Slade. Now, Slade's first season, he tried to play some football and then went away, looked at the data. Didn't call it data back then, but went and looked at the history and found that's how most teams get out of League Two. And it's still really effective now. If you go back to when we were looking for a new manager, I wouldn't change our tell now for anybody out that was available at the time at all. But I'd have been quite happy to go for something like that because I think if you do it right, and you have to do it right, it is entertaining to a point that you're dominating games and you're creating chances. If you do it wrong, it isn't. But if you're getting the ball forward really quickly, piling the ball into the box, people knocking down headers and you're creating chances and goalmouth action, it is entertaining to a certain point. I mean, you watch a lot of the Premier League now and it's all passing it about to bloody centre-backs every 5 minutes. And it does.
Yeah, but you say that, Mike.
Bit.
It is that, but also then it's all about the set piece stuff. They've got set piece coaches for throw-ins, for corners, for everything. It's about the restarts in play. And I'll tell you something, that sort of football, Americans would love it because every American sport, probably apart from ice hockey, is all about, right, you got 3 men here, you got 4 men there, you've got this guy who's going to deliver the ball, whether it be in baseball or in NFL or whatever. Here we go. That sort of thing. I would imagine they love it. And I could understand it. I felt the same with Cropper. Cropper was the closest thing we had to that, didn't he? How excited, Sam, did you used to be when Jordan Cropper would go over and take the ball up and go for a throw? We go, right, here we go. This is going to be fun.
But I remember on the first day of the season, we were 2-0 down by a much better side than us. Cropper came on, we got a long throw, and we all thought, we're back in the game here because we could put one on. It lands on Waterfall's head, and it's 2-1. It's a completely different kettle of fish. But I think we were, to coin a phrase, I think we were spoiled with that a little bit because it was unbelievable. We would not have got promoted without that Cropper. We'd probably still be in the conference now.
We would have got promoted if Afete had been playing, mate. It's all because he got injured because he'd have been playing.
Oh,
But-
bloody hell. We still got about bloody Misha Fetti. He's
but-
been gone for 18 months now.
I watched Andy
He's-
Glennon
where
play
is-
on Saturday. He looked good.
Where is he, Sam? Now is he still at Ross
Uh,
County?
He's still at Ross County, tearing up plays every week in the SPL. Yep, it was about we won the playoffs in a
Says a
different
lot
way,
about
Mike.
the SPL. That does.
Just to finish off what I was saying about style, I obviously prefer the Artel way we're seeing and how that's going to develop. I much prefer that. But at the time, I always used the Wrexham as like an example. Like they play terrible football, but everybody that goes there enjoys it because they win and it's effective. Not saying I want to see us do it, but I can understand why a team like Port Vale, done right, where their fans would like watching it because they're near the top of the league, they're scoring goals, they're creating chances, and it's all sort of up and at them a bit quick and get it up there. So I can understand it. I prefer what we do.
And that's why I think the Colchester game was really interesting because it was effectively two contravening styles playing each other with Cowley and ourselves. One of the things I really love about Artel's play, and we talk about it all the time, is there was a couple of moments yesterday when Port Vale were about to break from a corner from us. And as they try and do it, McEachran or somebody in the midfield would take the ball back off them. And again, it would be like, oh, from what was that sinking feeling you have as they all rush out was, oh, we're back on it.
Yeah.
I didn't used to get that with Paul Hurst. It was very much get back, get your shape, and we'll deal with what comes in. It's not like that with Artel. And maybe that's the reason why we've got negative goal difference.
Hurst wouldn't have had a clue how to use a player like McEachran. He just wouldn't have had an idea how to get a tune out of him because the game would have bypassed him. But it's right. I mean, and Colchester, mate, we were better than Colchester, weren't we? You were at the game like I was.
Yeah.
I mean, we were better than they were. I know they were kind of, you could argue, just as effective, but we were better than they were. When we got on top of the game, they couldn't handle us. And nor could Colchester yesterday when we started knocking the ball around into sort of playing balls into pockets of space and so on. Nobody in this league can handle us when we do that. We've demonstrated that by, as Artel said, apart from yesterday, beating sides at the top of the league. We have some inadequacies. Sorry, Mike, I'll let you go.
No, I was just going to say I don't think Colchester were particularly effective at it. I think they were terrible, and they didn't play the way.
May that continue.
And they didn't play a way I recognise Danny Cowley teams playing. But yesterday at 2-0, there was 5 minutes spell where we kept the ball really well down in our left hand channel, their sort of right back position, kept it really, really well. Got a couple of free kicks, couple of corners, couple of throw-ins, got in behind a few times, didn't quite do it. And then there was a free kick which Hume played square to Green, and Green got his feet all mixed up, buggered it up. They broke away. Green tries to take somebody out and misses. And for me, that I sensed a change of momentum then in that game. It might just be coincidence, but we were so good, that happened, and then they're right up our end of the pitch. They kept it there for 5, 6, 7 minutes. I think they scored eventually at the end. And that's where I sort of remember feeling a change of momentum, because at 2-0, at that point, I think we were quite comfortable. So you're quite right, Sam. We play some really good football when we want to. And some teams cannot cope with it. And Port Vale, until then, weren't coping with it.
I mean, that nearly culminated, that spell, didn't it, in Denver on his right foot of all things, curling it, and I thought it was
exactly
in.
then, yeah.
You did, Alex. It looked like it was going in, didn't it? And if that goes in, I mean, Denver scored on his right foot.
That was a beauty. Oh, it was. I was in the right position for it as well, and it curled it, just scraped that post. Oh, what? I forgot about that.
Cam and I were up. Cam and I were up. We were both celebrating the goal. It just looked for all the world like it was going in.
It did. It really did.
I'm not having this shade from Mariner Hodo being thrown at.
Can we? Oh, hold on. I know I've just said that he doesn't have a clue to use him. We are not throwing I'm allowed to throw shade on Hursty because he was my guy, but the rest of you threw him under the bus when it suited you are not. So
I think you'll find I've got a fucking flag. I'm allowed to say whatever. So Mariner Hodo says Hurst would have ended up playing a back five with McEachran as a wing back, most likely. He's not wrong. McEachran would have gone the same way as Alex Hunt.
Alex Hunt's playing in the conference. He's poor. McEachran's a brilliant player in a way that Alex Hunt never was.
Alex Hunt hasn't won an underage group World Cup.
Yeah, but they're the same style of player, different levels, but they are the same sort of diminutive midfielder. And neither Hurst knew how to use Hunt, and wouldn't have known how to use McEachran.
He used Nolan all right.
He did use Nolan all right because he had
He
the
used it,
masterful
and also
Craig Disley next to him.
Artell had a chance with Hunt. Artell still had Hunt and couldn't get a tune out either. Hunt was just poor and was overrated by our fan base because he sat on the bench for 2 years. McEachran's just compare McEachran and Hunt is just insulting to George McEachran.
I'm not having this, Sam. You're getting really chippy today. They are same.
How dare you,
similar...
after all the abuse we give you? How dare you get chippy?
Yeah. No, he was getting chippy.
Go on, Sam.
It's not insulting. They are two similar players, different levels, but they are exactly the same in terms of their diminutive stature and the levels are irrelevant. Both weren't being used very well, and we were talking about your man who failed and fucked up and lost all the FA Cup money that he,
right. Okay, so
Rose
has been a great player, right? You've just spent the last 10 minutes waxing lyrical about Eastwood, who was a Hurst signing. Rodgers, who's come on leaps and bounds, another Hurst signing. Right.
He's ranting so much that he's broken his microphone, hasn't he?
Conte and Malarkey, who were poor signings, quote unquote, apparently, both made profits on them. This disastrous summer we had last year, and Hurst spaffing the cup money, is totally untrue. There are a couple of crap signings in there, Wilson and Pike. You might as well chuck your money down the drain. But this
is where I'm getting off.
But the rest of them,
I can't support this argument any further.
Yeah, I know.
And Vernon, when he's on the pitch, when you talk about Vernon, every time the ball came to him yesterday, looked like him to do something. If we had that for 2 years injury free, which is just
Sam,
not really.
So Sam's basically saying
Vernon's already been here and wanted to come back since before Hurst came. That is well known. That's why we had Belingo watch, right? Conte, he didn't even know who the hell Conte was. It was Joe Hutchinson that signed him.
Yeah, but Hurst must have sanctioned it.
Paul Hurst,
but he
didn't know. It's not like he went out and got him.
No, but the other players that we've just spoke about for the first 20 minutes of the podcast talking about how good Eastwood and Rose were. Who signed those players? Sorry.
I agree with you, Chris. Yeah. Sam's getting angry. Sam's been chippy all day. It has to be noted. He was getting chippy in the WhatsApp groups as well. I don't know what it is. He's had a rough day.
He got rid of one of the best strikers in League Two, Daniel Orsi. He didn't even play him when we had no fit strikers. Now, he's coming back to haunt us. He's from my neck of the woods. I like the bloke. I won't have a bad word said about him unless I say it. Now, he didn't even play Orsi when we didn't have any strikers. He let Manny Dissaruve go because he wouldn't just tell him he's going to be first choice and then change his mind after, which every manager always does with a striker. And yeah.
Yeah, again, Marina Hodo, yes, Kieran Green was a Hurst signing, agreed, but Hurst was, I don't know what he was doing with Kieran Green, because Kieran Green's gone to another level since David Artell took over. But actually, I'm not saying last summer's recruitment was genius by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying it's not quite as bad as the sort of the annals of history
What was wrong with last season? What was wrong with this season's signings?
He's talking about last season. He's trying to say Hurst, that window wasn't terrible. Even though we've had months and months of us all agreeing it was terrible, with a few exceptions in there.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's move on.
We all know I'm not good at letting things go. So
what's that word for when it's like whenever you're in an argument, you're only ever 2 sentences away from mentioning the Nazis? You know, there's a word for it, isn't there, about calling somebody a Nazi?
The Reform Party.
It's the same with us and Hurst. We're only ever 2 sentences away in an argument from going back to having a discussion about
if you have been the manager of us, if you're the manager of us for 15 years, basically, you will occasionally come back to them. But Danilo Orsi, speaking of him, he's got a chance to break some hearts. He's recovered from his severe back injury that he sustained at Southampton, and he is going to be. Is he going to play against us on Saturday?
I do hope not.
Apparently, they beat Crewe, but my mate George was telling me that he'd looked at the stats, so it must be true, that they had 1 shot on target and faced 19.
Yeah, if they do that again on Saturday, the law of averages says they'll lose, doesn't it? You can't do that.
Let me have a look.
Whatever it is.
That's it, Pinhead. Thank you. Goodwin's law.
Let me have a look. So their last game was against Crewe. They won 1-0. Let's have a look at the. So, no, Oh well, okay. So total shots. So
On target.
they both had one on target. Crew had 19. Milton Keynes had 10 in total, but there was only one on target from each of them.
Well, that's last time I used that instead of Opta-stats.
Well, you're right. Still right. There's only one shot.
So another case of a League Two goalkeeper making no saves. This has become the norm. This has.
That's Sam's level of reporting stats to win an argument. He told me how many MK Dons had on target and told me how many Crew had in total.
There we go. Oh, was it? So it was one shot to 19. Okay.
Yeah, but it made it sound like it's the same thing. That's what Sam does.
Fine. So at Milton Keynes, Mike is slowly increasing his percentages.
I'm 52-48. Those big.
I'm going. I might not even have a car, but I'm going. Sam, are you going?
Of course I'm going. Yeah, absolutely. But my train tickets,
Mike,
everything.
Might just need to be persuaded.
I'm getting close. I was 50-50 this morning. I'm now 60-40, so I'm getting closer. What I would say is fair play to Sam. This will be the last away game of the season. Full credit to you, mate. Even though you've not been to as many as you did last season, you're still absolutely racking up the number of them. So well done, mate. No,
it's I didn't do as many games I wanted to in the first third of the season because I was too busy fighting another losing campaign. But I've done ridiculous amounts, and I'll be looking forward to the summer to save some money. I'm
surprised. I'm surprised you've been able to fit them in between all these dinner arrangements and engagements you've got on.
It's
Have you not realised that we tie dinner and football together? Me and Auntie Lunch.
Have we not increased? So who would we want? So I'm saying that we beat Franchise, and then I think we will. And I think the way the table then shakes out, that us and Wimbledon, will play out. We'll play out a boring.
No Wimbledon fans are listening there, mate.
We will play out a boring. Yeah, no, I think it'll be fine. I think the way the table will shake out, it'll be us and Wimbledon resting players, and we'll be playing out a boring 0-0 draw. Maybe okay, Mike. I'll extend it to the last half an hour. We'll play out a boring 0-0 draw, because we can see the results going our way elsewhere. But you're worried about Chesterfield, aren't you?
I'm worried about Chesterfield and the fact that if Chesterfield do what I think they will do, which is 2 wins against Morecambe and Accrington, they got a last-minute equaliser against Bradford on Monday as well, which sort of made all this possible. Without that point, it wouldn't be. But if they get 6 points against those two teams, we need 4 points. Because of our goal difference, it always means we need another point. So I'm less worried about Colchester and Salford because I am, but I can just see Chesterfield getting 6 points from those two games.
Do you know what? I would love the. Sorry, you go, Sam. Sorry.
I'm just provided Colchester don't beat Salford, because haven't Colchester got a complete gimme on the final day of the season? Just let me check this. Sorry, because if Colchester beat Salford and we beat Franchise hypothetically, then hold it. Sorry about this.
I would love the table to stay as it is right now.
And then they're at home to Barrow on the final day of the season. So then we'd have to beat Wimbledon. Now,
that's not a gimme.
There may be.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not a gimme. That's not a gimme.
You'd be expecting a game though. Now there may be a situation here. You can quantify the ethics of this, where Wimbledon are safely nestled in the playoffs, resting all their best and want to rest all their best players. We've got everything to play for and play Rose, McKechnie, and Hume. And there's some sort of Neil Warnock you when West Ham won at Old Trafford on the last day of the season and relegation.
It's not literally what I've just spoken about 2 minutes ago.
Yes, but Sam's making it abundantly clear he's talking about about match fixing.
Fine. Moving on from that, what I would like to say is I would quite like the table to finish as it is right now, because I would like to have Walsall in the semi-finals. Their form is shot. We've beaten them away from home already this season. I would quite happily take that right now if you offered me it, if we have a chance. And then there was a video being shown of AFC Wimbledon fans fighting with their own players at Gillingham this weekend. So they're not all too much shakes, and neither are Notts County. Who did Notts County lose to at the weekend?
Cheltenham. Who were on the beach.
Yeah. So I'd take that. I'd prefer Notts County. I don't know. Who would you prefer, Wimbledon or Notts County in a final if you were able to beat Walsall?
Wimbledon. I do not want to play Notts County in the playoffs. They will definitely.
We could, yeah, but do you not think, Sam, we would have a return of that that lad? Actually, Mike will probably know the young lad who was getting all the grief
what's his
at
name?
Wimbledon.
Notts County talk. Oh no,
no.
Yeah.
Could you imagine him in his white fleece and this pumping? And then us
Could you
three
imagine if he's
especially,
there?
I tell you what, how bad he was.
Us three especially having to get back on the tube with all the Wimbledon fans home.
I'm not leaving. I'm not
leaving.
No, I'm not. Because my dad will drive. I'll be like, Dad, I'm coming home. You're at work tomorrow in central London. I don't care. I'm not going back on the tube.
It was like when we lost to Bristol. I had to go back to Woking on the Bristol train with all the Bristol fans.
Yeah, who are. I'll tell you how bad this fella was.
Be ahead of it because they'll be all partying and you'll have got out immediately.
No, I stayed behind and clapped them because I thought they deserved it. I'm very much of the opinion that you stay there till your players leave. Don't after all they've given you, don't leave them on their own. Just stay there. Or is that a bit too wholesome?
It's a bit deep.
Bit pathetic, isn't it?
Did that day. I'd spent about 5-6 minutes just trying to compete what the bloody hell had happened. That was the lowest.
But I did get that wonderful shot though of John Paul Pittman, who obviously missed the penalty, being hugged by Anne, who takes all the photos at great games. And then next season, he was pretty much in identically the same place, giving her a hug. And I that was my crying like a baby moment. That was.
So just
I'm not with you if we lose at Wimbledon. If we lose at Wembley, because you'll be telling me it's my bloody fault.
Yeah, that's true, and it is. What was that, Sam?
If we do go up this season, would it be I'm not saying the best promotion?
We are completely. Can I just say as well? We completely cursed ourselves at Port Vale, and we are doing the same now. So at Port Vale, the songs were. You've seen the Grimsby now. Fuck off home. Yeah. We're going up, top of the league. You're having a laugh. All of those were carted out, and maybe this podcast is going to do the same. But you were saying if we do get promoted, will
it be the sort of most enjoyable promotion we've ever had? Because it will be so unexpected. It's not like those conference promotions, particularly the first one, which felt like true, just utter desperation to get out of it. Even 98 would come back the following season. There's a kind of expectation to go straight back up. Will it be the most kind of enjoyable? Because it'd be like it'll be
the same as the one in our last conference one where we were full. When we got relegated last time, I was fully right. We are here for 6-7 years. This is going to be slow build, catchy monkey again. And then we got up so randomly. I don't think anything will overtake that playoff experience, but
I think out of the three,
incredible.
Out of the three,
which three are we talking about?
The one that Sam's prophesied is going to happen.
Okay, yeah,
and the two that have happened. I think it would be the least. Reason being is League Two ain't the National League. I don't want to be in League Two, but we've spent the last 20 odd years trying to stay in League Two. The National League is hell on earth. And getting out of that, especially after so long not doing it the first time and thinking, is it ever going to happen? And then doing it the first time of asking after everything that had just gone before it. I think this will sneak up as a surprise. And I think most of us, if it happens, as Sam has guaranteed as it will, you've heard it here first, I think we'll all just be numb.
I think
it was standing there when Danny Rose holding the I just didn't know.
We'll be doing the Warnock. What the fucking hell's happening?
I think then what will be followed is a lot of a summer chat of we're not ready, and going from there. But it would be incredible. It would be the first time we're back in there since 2003, and we've only, in my living memory, we've only spent 2 seasons in that league.
I've never seen us playing it.
We've stopped off once, and then we went straight through it the other time. So
you know what that means then?
Weeks ago,
it'll be the championship year after.
That we never spend more than one season in the spin in that league. We're never there. We're either straight through this way or straight through this way or like.
Is that literally what we just said?
Yes, it is.
You're a long way behind us, Sam.
So I'm just going to let you have a think of this as the potential League One, because Hull, they're getting 2 points off relegation. So let's a gimme. Hull
Cardiff.
City are relegated as well. So League One would be. It looks like relegation is all but sewn up. It's between Burton and Bristol Rovers, I think. You'd have Mansfield. You'd have Peterborough, who are relatively close. Your home neck of the woods, wouldn't you, Mike? Rotherham, you'd have.
I'd be coming for staying for a fucking 3-month amount of York's games.
Oh, the money you're going to make on your caravan if we get promoted to League One. All your fellow Yorkies borrowing it for a week. You're going to be like Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street with your fun coupons.
I'm fucking leaving.
That's a problem if that's the case. Then you've got Barnsley, you've got Lincoln, Blackpool's a nice away day, Huddersfield. Reading for us, that's quite local. Leyton Orient for us, Charlton for us, maybe Wickham.
Donny.
Doncaster would be going up. Bradford, yeah, you'd have those.
Could you imagine the away followings who will take some of those? We've not played at Barnsley in a non-JP, in a non-whatever it is, franchise B-side game for about 25 years. We will take some absolutely enormous away followings. When did we last play? Were we getting the Championship or League One? How many will we take to these places?
Are you okay, Sam? Do you want one question at a time?
Before we continue down this, what's it going to be like?
We're allowed to dream this is a couple of weeks where we can dream.
I'm just going to say, Sam, are you absolutely sure that you're guaranteeing this is happening?
No, I'm not. I'm just dreaming. Sorry, I've never had this. I've never had this before, mate. Look, okay. Last year was crap, right? We were terrible. It was awful to watch. And
you said your mate signed all the good players, mate. It was brilliant.
Do you want Hull City, Derby? So Plymouth are down and Cardiff are down, I guess, aren't they? They're pretty much done. Do you want then either Luton? You can have one of Luton, Derby, or Hull. Well, I assume we're saying Hull. Yeah. Hull. There you go. So we've got Cardiff. That'll be a nice little one in the city centre. So take these moments, town fans, to just enjoy it and, have a little bit of a thought about what could be.
Dream.
Dream a little bit. Have a nice little bit. So Aaron has just said Sam is the tie from AFTV on TN35.
I'm not going to swear on this podcast. Yeah, you can pick right off. You can. Bloody hell.
He don't want to swear. You see how middle class he is? That he said the word piss was his swear word.
Yeah, I'm sorry for mentioning bad language.
Get you absolute wanker out. Bloody hell. That is one of the most insulting things I've ever had said to me, and someone called me a Labour voter once. So this is
really we've had a go for a couple of years, and you're saying that's the word you've had.
Aaron, I applaud you for obviously an incredible judge of character. So well done.
My wife wants to know what that means.
What's that? A judge of character?
What tie from Arsenal fan? I'll have to tell her what that
means. Anything before we go?
See you at franchise, boys.
Oh, we finished. Jesus Christ, you've got me all excited that we're going Champions League in a few years.
We do. I'm just a bit of a cock tease of a pod. Firstly, any titles from people out there who are listening? What should we title the podcast for today? Let you put that in there while we do a couple of bits. So first and foremost, Gamerpalooza. We have got tickets for DocFest available. I'll be honest, we've only had a few people ask. You've got 2 games to play, and you could be walking away with free tickets to go watch the Charlatans, Ash, and Maximo Park, and many others, completely free on behalf of us and Docs. So do drop us a DM, drop us an email or a message on Facebook. We can put you in there. We're looking for 8 contestants, ideally. We can drop it to 4 if needed, but I was surprised we didn't have that many. So if we haven't pushed it, we will do. Please do come along, play the game. Either that, or I'm going to raffle them off, and the winner will get that, and the runner-up will get a lunch with Auntie Lunch and Sam.
Auntie Lunch and Sam.
And that's that bit. The other bit, we've already mentioned it, but George is doing the London mini marathon this weekend. He is non-verbal autistic, wonderful lad. He's Wasn't there yesterday, which is probably why we didn't take all 3 points, but goes to quite a lot of town games and is doing the marathon for good cause of the Grimsby Town Disabled Supporters Club. So do contribute and donate if you can. We'll put the tweet out on our socials. And that is it, I think. I don't think I've got anything else to plug, have I? We'll talk about Cav's book as well, about Mariners as well. Hopefully we'll get him on and have a chat with him. But that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. See you at franchise.
Any titles? You keep saying any titles for the pod. I don't want to have to think of them. Anyone from you, Mike?
No.
Book plugs.
Book plugs. There you go.
Can't have that one. Come on, Tierney. Jesus. Cocktease of a pod. I'll see.
You're going in now, I bet you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy these moments. Please get down to franchise. I know there's sometimes it feels a little bit of a moral obligation not to go, but the lads need you. And I think you'll regret it if you're not there. If we can get 3 points, we've got a foot in the door for the playoffs, which is the first time in a long time. And it'll be great to have you there as well. Thank you all so much. Yes, Mike.
If we don't go up, don't write to us. Please write to Sam.
Yeah. We will give his address out on the podcast on the final one of the season.
You bloody well won't.
So yeah, if you do want to send Sam stuff, then feel free to. He currently hides it because he doesn't want Alistair Campbell's lawyers knocking on his door.
Is that the only time we've had to edit something is Sam?
No, I'm pretty sure I've said some stuff that's controversial.
But did we edit it?
There was another
fucking hell! Breaking news. You don't have to tell us that. But I mean,
there was an occasion with, did Bruce cause something to be edited once as well?
Yeah.
About an eating establishment we had to take out, didn't we?
Yeah. But nobody likes Pappers anyway. Tackleberry wants to know if he can send you a battery for your clock, Sam, because it's wrong.
Oh, it's buggered. I need to take it down. When I moved in here 2 years ago, nearly, it still didn't. I put so many new batteries in it. I want my money back.
If that isn't why are you adding that in?
I was going to say earlier, but then Sam went off to Tackleberry. Says, "Hi everybody, sorry, I'm late." That's not good enough, Tackleberry? We need a note if you're going to be late.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I'm done. I'm out of it. Listen out for this. Listen for the At the Match podcast. We'll get that out there as well. Mike keeps telling me I keep putting them in the wrong order, so I'll pay more attention to it.
Playing all the right recordings, not necessarily in the right order.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Speak to you all later. Have a great day. See you later.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more in my life around here. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really